Hiya guys, hope you're all okay. Just a few things from me today. Firstly, opinions. Right, I know they like arseholes, aren't they? We've all got one, right? But the facts don't care about what your opinion is. And, you know, I can sort of let that slide. It's just when you're in the middle of debating somebody, right, on something as important as vaccination, right, and then they say it's a typical knee-jerk response when they don't really know what to say. Oh, that's your opinion and I've got mine. Now that's a fact. We both got our opinions, but one of them is based on fact and the other one is based on blind trust, right? So, like, your opinion on vaccines, if you're pro-vaccine, is not going to change the vaccine if it's going to damage your child or killing them. The vaccine doesn't care about your opinion. The vaccine can and does kill people, and not just this. I'm on about vaccination in general, right? They don't even deny that. I can't even be. If people don't know that by now, the vaccine insert package, the vaccine package insert will tell you that, right? But people just don't bother reading them. They're just like, and you know, I've had this problem all the way from the beginning. You're not a medical professional. You've gone, no, yeah, I know I haven't, and I admit that. I hold my hands up, but that doesn't prove anything, right? It doesn't prove anything. What, in fact, you know, it doesn't matter that I haven't got any qualifications. What I have got is thousands of hours of research, right? And study into vaccination historically, the ingredients, who funds the whole process, actually, who makes the decision, who's involved, the manufacturers, the conflicts of interest, the lobbying, you know, everything about them. And then I ask this one question: what does a doctor know about them? In terms of, not what does a doctor, because there are plenty of doctors who know the truth. Obviously, we know that now. But what I mean is, what are they taught about them in medical school? I've interviewed two doctors, and both of them say exactly the same. But I already knew that anyway, because thankfully there are heroes out there, doctors and nurses, who are speaking out about it, and they are fully, there's no ego in them. They're fully, you know, happy to tell you exactly what they learn, and it's nothing. It's nothing. But the average person believes that a doctor or a GP knows absolutely, that they trust them. You know, and that is the danger. This is what I'm trying to sort of save you from. You know, because like I've said a million times, most anti-vaxxers are ex-vaxxers. They had something happened. This is not. It's not rare. This is common. I mean, you only have to look at the you know, the rate of the increase in autism over the years, directly in line with the vaccine schedule increasing. There's plenty of evidence to show that. It's just people, no, it wasn't. It was Andrew Wakefield that said no. Actually, Edward Jenner poisoned his own baby, and he died at 21 from TB, which was directly linked to his smallpox vaccine, right? And that's another thing. You know, earlier on I had some girl say to me, because I put some statistics about smallpox, because I've studied them. I know, I put them up there, and she said, oh, maybe you should speak to somebody who you know, lived in the smallpox days and stuff. Right, but I'm looking at the data. Right, smallpox is the same thing as chicken pox. Is that all the pox are the same? The reason why it used to kill people back then is because of living conditions, right? I've said this before. If you go back pre-1940, this is another thing. In the medical textbooks, all they get is post-1940, the data from post-1940. Right, well, when you go back further, pre-1940, typhoid, scarlet fever didn't even have a vaccine and it went out on its own, measles, or, you know, diphtheria, smallpox or whatever, they were all on the decline, all of them. And that was because they were improving their living conditions, better hygiene. Hygiene is so important. Better hygiene, better nutrition, better living conditions. You know, they were no longer living in sewage down the streets because they had plumbing. They started to wash their hands, right? Things like that was what made the decline in smallpox. It had nothing to do with the vaccination. In fact, smallpox attained its maximum mortality after the vaccine was introduced, and that can be proved as well. You know, smallpox and polio are the ones they throw up all the time. Neither of them were viruses. Neither of them were. You know, they are the result of filth, whichever way that is, you know. And that's inside you as well as environmentally. There's lots of different things that come into it which make you sick, right? But they weren't viruses. Polio was caused by pesticides. Well, I say caused by it. I mean, when pesticides came about, that's when polio symptoms started to appear. You know, industrial toxic, you know, crap. Poisoning from industrial and horticultural and agricultural. Pesticides are designed, right, this is what they do. They're designed to destroy the nervous system in bugs, in pests. That's why, right, it does exactly the same thing in humans. This is another thing. But that aside, right, polio was not a virus, smallpox was not a virus, or infectious diseases. But people like to throw those around like they know something. It's just regurgitating. It's unreal. Right, let me ask you this one, because it's another one that people they'll quite happily ignore and call the likes of me all the names under the sun. Right? Cancer in children. Explain that one to me. Cancer is not a virus. Cancer is the end result of a series of not resolving, a series of toxicity build up, right? And not resolving the root cause. It goes through different stages. Cancer is the last stage, and even at that moment, the body is trying to protect you by putting those cancerous cells in tumours. But that aside, right, cancer is a build-up of toxicity from wherever it comes from, right? It's accumulative as well. How come babies who've never experienced this type of thing before get cancer, right? Because you've got to build. It comes through vaccination. In fact, bone, lung, and I can't remember the name of the other cancer. I can't remember the name of it, right? But they didn't even exist until the polio shot was poisoned with SV40, just diseased monkey kidney and whatever else in there. Cancerous cells, right? They didn't even exist. Children get cancer because they've been blood poisoned, right? And if you're a baby and you've been blood poisoned, then it's got to be somewhere quick. And it's vaccination. In fact, when you go back historically, even when we were living in crap, but we didn't have vaccinations or whatever, right? Hardly any cancer at all, right? As soon as they start compulsory mass vaccination programs around the world, boom! Have a look. Have a look. Right? So when people say, oh, you carry on and do what you're going to do, blah, 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 you know, I feel so sorry for the children. I really do. Because it's that sort of arrogant attitude, and that a lot of it comes from fear. I'm aware of that. You don't want to because it scares you. So to lash out at somebody like me is easier. It's easier to call me a conspiracy theorist than spend your time going to have a look at something which is going to blow your mind open. But let me tell you something else it does do. It affords you some protection for your children. Right, you not wanting to know about it doesn't help them. You marching them off because you're pissed off with you know, and whatever you believe that vaccines are. Just look. Take you 10 minutes to read a vaccine package insert. They don't deny it. You can look at VAERS. You can look at all the reporting systems. Right, you can look at the statistics. Honestly, I shared a status last night, right, about smallpox. I'm just finishing reading Béchamp or Pasteur, right? And it obviously it just touches on everything. I can't believe how much of a fraud Pasteur really was, actually. I mean, I knew he was incorrect in his theory, but it goes further than that. It really does. And how Béchamp was just, he was a genius, but a humble, honest, quiet man. You know, had all his work plagiarised and twisted by Pasteur. And he didn't get any recognition for it until after he died. He was a genius. Research him, Antoine Béchamp. And when you understand, this is the problem, right? Because people only vaccinate because they believe, well, they vaccinate out of fear, pure and simple, because the media have done a blinding job, and the industry, of scaring the living crap out of everybody, right? And pretending that they can catch this, and this. So you need this toxic crap to be injected in you to protect you from all the boogeyman, right? That's how they've pushed it. They've frightened people. But the only reason people do it is because they believe they're protecting their children from something or protecting themselves. That's the only reason they do it. Right. In any medical procedure, you're supposed to have informed consent, right? Any operation, whatever, right? A vaccination is invasive medical procedure. Can you tell me when the doctor has ever sat down in front of you and gone through both? Both! I mean, there is no benefit, but even according to them, right, in their lies, benefit and risks. When has that ever happened? In fact, or you get the odd doctor who's honest enough, in a surgery anyway, to tell you, right? But 95% of the time they believe they're safe and effective. They haven't bothered looking either, mind. They haven't got the time. They weren't taught about it, but they believe, you know, that they're all safe and effective and all these studies are done and they're all great and tidy. So they're telling you, you know, but that's even from that point of view, they must know that there are risks, right? So they're not giving you these risks. And believe me, there are many and many, many, many of them. Now, most of you, if a doctor sat down in front of you and actually said that, how many would you reconsider? Do you see that blind faith? And I know, because I went through the same thing for the first 2.5 decades of my life, right? But this blind trust it's dangerous. It's so dangerous. You know, and it's so easy for people to lash out at other people and just go along with the herd like the rest of them. This is why people call it sheep. I know it's a bit insulting, but can you see? Because if you weren't with that herd mentality and just following along, I don't give a shit who said it. I don't care who, you know, which doctor, whatever. You've got to go and have a look, right? And I've said it a million times before as well. You'll spend months looking for a new home. You'll spend months looking for a new holiday. You'll spend whatever, right? But when it comes to your kids, you won't spend 10 minutes looking at it because you think that the doctor is in the right and that's all there is to know. That's the most dangerous thing you'll ever do. Go and ask any mother who knows that their child was vaccine damaged or killed by vaccine. Go and ask them, right? This is not a joke. You're not protecting yourself from anything. Nothing. Because there is no infectious disease. Disease is created within the body, right? Through overtoxicity from wherever it is, right? The germ theory is a lie. A huge lie. 200-year-old lie, right? So this is why people, because the whole medical industry is based upon it. You know, as I said with me and Dr. Kaufman were chatting, you know, the other day when I interviewed him. It's the germ theory which is holding this up. Now, I went round the long way and whatever, and I'm glad because I got a lot of, you know, I learned a lot. I got a lot of knowledge for that. But the point, you know, you don't even have to do that. Just learn the germ theory and the terrain model, right? And you will realise there is completely no reason for a vaccine anyway, because there's nothing to protect you from. All you are doing is poisoning yourself. I don't know how, right? This is only a 15-minute video and people will probably just, you know, mock me and whatever. Just go and have a look for your children's sake. Put the ego to this. I know you don't like it and you don't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it either. I wish it was wrong, but it's not. You know, and somebody said, oh, carry on, you know, do what you're doing and blah, 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 blah. Enjoy it. Well, I will. Till the day I die. I don't enjoy it, but I will do it until this shit stops. Because while we're all arguing about this, there is still millions and millions of people dying unnecessarily and being injured unnecessarily, all for profit. You want to know, follow the money trail. Learn the germ theory and the terrain model and follow the money trail, right? It's all connected. I can't pretend to, this is why I've done it over a long period of time, try to give you the information, blah, blah, blah. Can't sit here and explain the whole industry to you in 10 minutes or in a Facebook comment, you know? Why don't you just go away and have a look? There's a really good meme, I share it often, and it's like, you know, why would the people who speak out about vaccines do it? We don't get any praise for it. Obviously, we don't get any praise for it. We're called to be criminalised, killed, our kids to be died, our kids to be dead to teach us a lesson. I've had that a couple of times, yeah. Right, not paid for it. We're vilified, we're fucking alienated, ostracised, gossiped about, attacked, abused. Why don't you sit and ask why we would put ourselves through that for no benefit, instead of blindly believing the very people who make money, lots and lots and lots of money, off you being sick. I got nothing to gain, right? Nothing. They got everything to lose. Don't you see? For God's sake, take your head out of the mainstream media, or the media, just take your head away from the TV, right? And start learning for your children's sake, if anything else, right? If you want to go and have your flu shot, go and have it. Go and have it twice, 3 times. Do you know what? But have a think about your babies that do not have a choice, right? You vaccinate them and they die of SIDS, right? Can you live with even, right? When you don't know, you don't know, right? You really, nobody can pretend. Nobody can pretend that they don't know there's controversy surrounding this now, and they are still choosing to not look. God help our children, honest to God. You can't even spend a little bit of time looking for them, but you'll sit and watch fucking Netflix from the minute you get up. You know, there's always people, what can I watch next on new Netflix? What can I watch next? And sit there binge watching a fucking TV program for 10 hours. And yet sit on their asses going, oh no, conspiracy theorist. And won't even I'm real. I'm real. Anyway, your opinion don't matter, right? The facts do not care what your opinion is at the end of the day, right? Anyway, going now, guys. Sorry for the rant, but and I know I've said this a million times before, but, you know, maybe the repetitive thing works. Keep drumming it and drumming it and drumming it. I'll see you later, guys.